The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. On Friday, May 22nd, 2026, Senegalese President Birame Faye took the drastic step of dismissing his Prime Minister, Sonko, and dissolving the entire government. This move effectively ends the partnership between two men who were once the face of Senegal's popularist movement. But the public is asking one critical question. Why? And what is the real story behind this sudden and complete collapse of the administration? Africa has risen and we are all asking questions. A conflict over regional security. That's what people are saying. While official statements cite the need to preserve national stability, a narrative has emerged from sources close to the unfolding events regarding the core of this disagreement. The allegation points to a fundamental split over Senegal's role in the Sahel, specifically its relationship with Mali. According to these claims, Prime Minister Sonko was actively advocating for an aggressive intervention policy. The narrative push is that Sonko had pushed for the deployment of Senegalese military assets, including air power, to assist the Malian Armed Forces FAMA in their ongoing security operations. The claim alleged that this was not merely a suggestion, but an attempt to override established diplomatic and military protocol. The report suggests that this move towards direct military involvement in Mali was the final straw. President Faye, according to this perspective, was firm and refused and claimed that he doesn't want to be involved directly in what is happening because he wants to protect his own borders and wouldn't want to compromise its own national security. So the dismissal, therefore, is being framed not just as a political fallout.
The Prime Minister of Senegal, Ousmane Sonko, has been dismissed from his position and the government has been dissolved by the President of Senegal, Birame Diop. According to the secret news sources that the Prime Minister or the former Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko has instructed the Minister of the Armed Forces in Senegal to deploy the air resources to Mali, by the way, to support the FAMA, which means the Malian Armed Forces, to fight those criminals and those terrorists. Because of this led to his dismissal by President Birame Diop, who believes that Prime Minister overstepped his authority. But one of the reasons is that we, the people, we have voted for Birame Diop to be there so that he can help the African people to come as a Pan-African, to close all the colonial borders, to close everything that is putting us in chains. Instead of that, instead of working side to side with Ousmane Sonko, he chose to work with France, and France is still controlling this man. That is the main problem. That is why he do not want to deploy some equipment to Mali to help the Malian forces, because France is telling him not to do that. So in other words, France is still in control of Senegal and the Senegalese president, Birame Diop. And this is one of the craziest things that you will ever see. Because of colonizers, they are making borders between Mali and Senegal, which, by the way, we are all the same people and the same families as well. But there is an African proverb which says that when the blind man regains his sight, the first thing this blind man throws away is the stick that helped him for so long. And in the case of President Birame Diop and the Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko, or the former Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko, this is what really happens. Because without Ousmane Sonko, Diop is going to be nothing. And in fact, people have taken to the street in Senegal chanting that we are with Ousmane Sonko, we are not with Birame Diop. But now, Ousmane Sonko should be very, very careful in Senegal because of the dirty politics. The president decided to betray the whole nation, to betray the African people. What they will try to do now is that they are going to frame Prime Minister once and for all again, like the way the former leadership did in Macky Sall. They might accuse him of rape, they might accuse him of corruption, they might accuse him of different things so that they can disqualify him in 2029 to stand as a presidential candidate in Senegal, because Diop has lost control. This man has lost his mind completely. Instead of being truthful to the African people, to help the Africans, to help the people in Senegal, he is currently in bed with the French authorities, by the way. But let me know in the...
So family, let's jump straight into what happened next after Ousmane Sonko got fired by the President of the Republic of Senegal, Bassirou Diomaye Faye. I'll go straight to a post that the Prime Minister, or the former Prime Minister, Ousmane Sonko, published on his Facebook page. This is what he said, and I quote, "Thanks be to Allah. Tonight I will sleep light-hearted in the city of Kher Gorgi." That was what he went straight to his Facebook page to publish. He said tonight he would sleep with a light heart in the city of Kher Gorgi. Kher Gorgi is a city somewhere around Dakar. That's where his private house is. So he immediately after he was fired, he packed all his belongings and took off straight to his private residence in Kher Gorgi. And this is what happened when he was going back to his private residency in Kher Gorgi. This is how the population of Senegal received and welcomed him yesterday night. This is what happened, people. Take a look and you will understand who run things in Senegal.
Il est là, le mollah de Kher Gorgi, le lion retourne dans sa tanière, le président Ousmane Sonko. Le président Ousmane Sonko. Il est là, le président Ousmane Sonko, le président.
So people, you could see for yourselves how he got welcomed back home. This is a clear message to those who understand geopolitics. And now the question is, what is going to happen in Senegal going forward? You need to know that now the battle line has been drawn. This is the time where you are going to see real political tensions and clear-cut stances being taken by Senegalese actors. Bassirou Diomaye Faye is going to be fighting really hard with his sponsors. We know that he's got the backing of France, and they are going to be looking all political motives to nail Sonko, so he will not become president in 2029. Why? Because they know that if Sonko becomes president in 2029, what is happening in the Sahel is going to happen in Senegal. That is without any doubt. The second thing is, Sonko, on his other hand, he has the majority of parliamentarians in the Senegalese parliament. He is going to be working hard politically together with his partners to try to guarantee that they get a ticket come 2029. So there is going to be a serious political tussle and turmoil in Senegal in the next couple of days. And trust me, a lot of heads are going to fall. You know why? Because the youth, the majority of Senegalese youths are with Sonko, and they are going to face the security forces. You know how these guys are. Once these Westerners, once these neo-colonialists have transformed you into a monster, you now start using the military, the security forces, and other forces to oppress the people's will. It's not going to be easy. Senegalese, you need to stand and protect Ousmane Sonko if you want real change in Senegal. Thank you, and see you in my next one. We keep our eyes on Senegal.
This rift didn't happen in a vacuum. For a year, observers have noted mounting friction between the president and his prime minister. People are so disappointed with all that happened, and now that we're having this report claiming that it was as a result of pushing for regional unity. If we are talking about the African uniting, African coming together, finding solution for ourselves, then this is the time we can help our brothers and sisters. And we know Sonko has been very vocal when it comes to helping the Sahel, and he always declares his support for the Sahelian leaders. So if he is advocating for the Senegalese military to go and help, that is the best thing I think we should be doing for ourselves, and not leaving the situation entirely on the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. If we are doing that, where is then the love we are preaching? Where is the Panafricanism we are preaching? Where is the African solution we are asking for to use to solve our own problems? We know these two people came into office with the Pan-African slogan, the way we need to work together, talking about leaving the CFA franc, making sure they kick out French troops, making sure they take control over their sovereignty. But we saw that everything just became something else. And when you look at what Sonko wrote on his social media platform, it's like there was a burden on him that was taken out. And we know how these people will always come in to work, divide us, so that whatever thing that we are doing will never succeed. Divide and conquer has always been the tactics. And the leaders we are seeing coming out will come with speeches, talk about Pan-Africanism, talk about how we are going to do this. But one thing we need to understand, anytime you enter into the system, like one time Duma Boko said, the system will cripple you. That is not like how his good friend Captain Ibrahim Traore will just wake up and say something and it becomes a decree. But with the system that they have, you have to pass through here, go through there, before you realize your time is due and you will go without being able to do what you want to do. And it is the system that is making the African not to move forward. And it's the same system that is making the leaders not to function well. So before we can break through, we need to dismantle the system. And that was why Paul Kagame said they come with their democracy in one hand and then in the other hand, they are taking your resources away. So they push democracy on you. The more you continue to buy into the idea of that same system, the more the resources will continue to be living. So the time for all of us in Africa to have a unified model to solve our problems is now. Because when you look at what is happening, everybody in Africa is not just happy with the happening in Senegal, because these two leaders became the role model. They gave us hope. They gave us everything that we were looking for. And only for them to come into power and then things will just turn out this way. It's very sad. It's very, very sad, because we are looking at one fighting for Africa, another fighting to continue to keep the colonial whatever. And you cannot say you are free to take decisions on your own when you continue to dine with the same people that are oppressing you. And it's so sad. We don't know when Africa will actually wake up and fight for our total liberation. We'll continue to be fighting and pushing until we finally get leaders who will be very bold. Like Paul Kagame said, they should be able to say no, put value on themselves, and fight to protect the larger people that they are leading. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, West Africa, and in Senegal.